Welcome to The Herd is the Word. It's our new podcast name because we had competition for shooting the bull. Well, I'm Bull, one of the main hosts here. We have Ray.
Yes, I'm Ray.
There's Ray. We also
maybe he should introduce himself.
All right.
Introduce himself.
We're gonna have to edit quite a bit. I'm Ray. I've known both Jason and. Do you go by comedian or TC? Or?
Yeah, I'm kind of partial to TC.
TC. And I've known TC. I've known them for about 5 or 6 years now. Probably more than that. And I am here for my expertise in topics.
Your dog is being whiny, but that's okay. That's what dogs do.
It's because there's no one here to watch her.
Oh, that sucks.
She likes being around people.
Oh, no.
We can just take her bone away and bring her back in here.
Maybe we should just let her in, yeah.
Because otherwise she's going to be howling.
Okay, yeah, here's the fourth member of the podcast, Xena.
I'm going to take off her collar so she doesn't jingle.
Okay. This is professional.
Yep, this is totally professional.
I know.
Maybe we should recut the intro.
We will.
Okay.
No, this is great. Xena. Okay, there we go. No, this is great. This is perfect. This is if I was listening to a podcast, this is what I would want to listen to.
Exactly.
A bunch of douchebags.
Just talking.
Complaining about a dog.
Xena, please.
Alright, so TC.
I'm TC.
I love how it's short and sweet, to the point.
Yes.
Doesn't waste anybody's time.
Stands for that cunt.
or the comedian.
Well,
whichever one you prefer.
Let's not go crazy here.
Let's not get too personal with our stories.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to raise expectations by calling me a comedian.
Well, that just means you have to tell a Brick Lane story again.
I know bricklaying stories are the best, aren't they?
I mean, you are a mason after all.
I am partial to masonry stories.
I know. I lay bricks like I lay my women, flat and covered in kind of a grayish white viscous liquid. That's like a packing material.
I think you should see a doctor finally.
It might be about your best interest there. But all right, so we're gonna start out with some personal stuff. I know we're getting down to the connecting with our audience. I'm gonna start with one of my past relationships, but I'm gonna preface it with relationships are a waste of time, money, and usually don't end well.
I think I know where you're going with this.
But, so, when I was in high school, exiting, going to college, I didn't get a lot of relationships, but I had some in the past. And so, I looked towards trying to figure out why and what I needed to do to be in a relationship. And it led to reading some books and listening to people and talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
What I've gathered is women want you to lie to them.
Oh no! This is really a great way to endear yourself to an audience.
Women
in
want
the second
you to,
episode.
Women want you to lie to them.
Okay.
They want to be impressed, but at the same time, not to be annoyed by your arrogance.
Do we bring beer?
Do we bring beer?
I'll go find some booze.
I don't think we have any beer. Just gonna be honest with you, I don't think we have any beer.
I think. Oh no, my whiskey's somewhere else. Oh no.
Yep.
Oh well, whatever. You just have to pretend to be drunk.
But so what I did is, I went ahead and faked being someone who I wasn't. Ended up with a relationship for a while, and she didn't know. She couldn't figure it out. She didn't know that I was not someone who I wasn't. And then it got to a point where I was tired of being that fake person. And it led to her being confused and me just not wanting to be in a relationship anymore. Because I was no longer going into the relationship to be happy. I was just going into a relationship to try to, like, science it, if you will.
Did she have big cans?
Yeah.
That was a question of
I mean, the sex was fine. Don't get me wrong. That was not the problem. It was the whole... after the attraction and the meeting and everything,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing deeper than that. It was all just fake.
There was nothing deeper, but you just said the sex was fine.
Hey, I meant on an emotional level besides physical.
Oh. Well, I don't care about that.
Neither do I, but after a certain period of time, you look for something like that, and if there's nothing there because it's a fake relationship, what's the point?
Hey, Ray, you want me to Irish up that Red Bull there?
Yeah, if you could.
Anyway, so I met the girl online. You guys actually never met her.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Met her online, went on a couple dates with her. She had a kid. I know. She didn't have any pets, though, because I couldn't handle pets. Even though I have a dog now. And it was really not a good relationship. I mean, sure, it was awkward with the kid, but she usually had someone else watching the kid anyway whenever we went out or...
Fucked.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I was kind of hoping that the kid wouldn't be.
No,
in
I would
the
not feel
same
comfortable.
room.
I would not feel comfortable at the same house with the kid.
Okay.
That's just me. I mean, some people might do like, oh yeah, that's fine. But that was my weird relationship story that I don't think you guys ever heard of. So I figured I'd share it with you and my audience.
No, I thought you were going with the
No,
other story.
I have quite a few.
That-
Her name was Cynthia. You guys never met her.
Okay, well, the
No, I
story that
haven't.
I am mentioning is for another day. I don't want to spoil it.
No,
For
I,
any
I
of
got,
us.
I got lots of
Okay.
stories.
All right.
So that was my relationship story. I mean, have you guys ever done anything?
with like women.
No, like with trying to be fake in a relationship or alluding to get something else from the relationship that you didn't think of, like a friendship. Like you just want to be friends with a guy because he has access to some kind of maybe
Doomsday
bar.
device? Oh.
Or maybe he's got some video game system, or you're just being friends because he knows somebody else that you want to know.
Well, I already got a story, but I'm sitting in the third position here, so it's not my job to go second. You got sloppy seconds on this relationship story.
Alright, well, on a relationship story, what's the easiest way to preface this? 95% of my relationships on a romantic level are all a lie. They're all largely. I wouldn't say a lie, but during high school, I didn't date at all, and I got to like the very end senior year where I was like, all right, let's try this high school experience out because I literally have run out of time to try it out. And it's so I tried the whole dating thing, and I quickly learned. Actually, I didn't learn. Was the issue. I kept getting into relationships with people that I got along with, and I was like, this is the level of stability I need for a relationship, in that we don't hate each other when we're hanging out. And that might be true of high school relationships. I don't know. I wasn't there long enough. But it was a great series of kind of figuring out that there is very little connection there and very little interest mentally. And that largely sums up my dating life in the I guess early years, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I only really dated one person seriously, and that's not a story I'd like to get into.
Yeah.
But
by the way, because this is audio, not visual, Jason Bull's dog Xena really wants to go out, and Jason is being very, very quiet about trying to get her out of the room, and I just completely ruined the whole thing.
Thanks.
He was so quiet, and I just saw his success and had to squash it.
the illusion is largely broken. I don't know. So you kind of. I think relationships are largely.
And now she has the plastic bone. But yes, continue on.
I think the relationships early on are largely ways of figuring out yourselves more without sounding like a cliched Hillary Duff movie from the early 2000s. It is largely like figuring out yourself, because it's I guess building a relationship is not something I'm an expert on, but it requires some. I think both people need to already know who they are and then kind of build a deeper understanding between each other. And I feel that's not something you get early on.
I do agree with that. People that don't like themselves can't like other people.
Yeah, it sounds like a cliched line, but it's largely true. It's in fact relationships could be summed up by it sounds cliche, but it's true.
Pretty much, yeah.
There is a great deal of I don't know how to put it. There's a great deal of wisdom out there that is largely inaccurate, but there's some stuff that remains true just through the decades. And that's pretty much the cliches.
Is that things people say are typically true?
Yes, relationships are really not so black and white, so it's very hard to pigeonhole exactly how relationships work. So I'm going to use the parentheses, a functional relationship, because there's a lot of really dysfunctional relationships that work for both people, but don't seem like they're healthy. And that just, I guess if it works for them both, it's really hard to argue with, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I guess I'll use the term, maybe not functional relationship, but typical. There's no way to use typical relationship in that, though.
Well, a typical relationship is two people that get along with each other, that want to, they want to meet with each other, they want to spend time with each other, and they don't look for anything beyond the relationship. Like, they don't want it to end.
How do you mean? Like it's more of it's less of a something they want to transition and more of a like this is
it.
Fun in the here and now.
No. Like this is it. This is a relationship. I'm not looking for another relationship after this one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I could understand that. Anyway, TC, would you like to tell your story?
This one time I was at a party and I had sex with this guy in someone's garage, and I was really disappointed because he had a small penis.
Oh God, I know that story too.
Don't stop the podcast. Don't stop the podcast.
I'm not. I'm scrolling. Keep going.
Okay, because that's all right. That's story number one. Story number two, I got a girl's phone number and then I never called her. Story number three, what was my third story? Oh yeah, in high school I had really shitty friends who used me because I was the only person with high-speed internet in the town. So they downloaded music and pretended to be my friends and downloaded music.
You're a really good storyteller, but you suck on microphone.
It's not that I suck on microphone, it's that relationships make me want to go into my car and pump carbon monoxide into the actual cabin of the vehicle until I'm with Jesus.
What about the positive relationship? What about your positive relationships, man?
You guys.
Yeah, so what's wrong with that?
Well, that's
You
fine.
could have talked about that. You don't have to talk depressing.
But you guys have your stories, and then there's me in a garage sucking a small guy's penis. Well, not a small guy. I mean, he was like a guy, not like a kid or anything. That would be gross. That's definitely not something I would bring up in the podcast. But no, he was my age, but he had a small dick. It sucked. It was disappointing. It's like, hey, I'm gonna suck a dick. All right, I like dicks. I'm gonna suck dicks. And then when I get a dick, it's a small dick.
Yeah, but
that's my relationship story.
I'll count it. Yeah.
I mean, it is very countable. Not gonna discount it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, and I've also I love the story, even though it's tragic because I've heard it probably 14 times by now, and that's why I love it.
This is probably like the first time I've told it while being sober, but the point is...
Yeah, no, that's probably true.
Well, I do have a very close relationship with my body pillow. You guys probably know me as Anime Fan 99, or my World of Warcraft ID, the Iron Brony 2. Don't look at me like that, you gaijin trash.
Oh, that's just amazing.
But what about do you guys remember when we met?
As far as you know, yes.
Have you been stalking me before we met? Is that what the thing was?
No, I just have a really bad memory. Didn't really
It's
have...
a really bad memory.
I didn't really have a funny place to go with that. I'm
Oh,
sorry. I apologize.
It's alright. It's alright.
I should go. I should leave. But I'm not.
I have a vague memory of how it happened because, all right, I largely met Jason because I happened to be in a Boy Scout troop with his brother, his younger brother, and so I used to hang out with him when we were, I guess it wouldn't Boy Scouts, would have been Cub Scouts because we were just young, maybe 3rd grade, and I actually met him because of going to his brother's house frequently. That's how we really got to know each other. So we've actually known each other, I would say, for a decade now. Would have to be about right.
How long is a decade?
Actually, it's probably closer to 15 years.
I don't know how long a decade is.
Oh,
That's why I said
10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I think we've known each other close to 15 years.
Wow. 10 years? That's a long time.
I know it is.
That's why they call it a decade, huh?
That's
See,
exact. What? I think the Latins are the reason why they call it a decade. It's crafty Latins.
And their numbers and language and all that stuff.
So yeah, I guess on a much less depressing note, it's as far as friendship relationships. I mean, we've definitely been very, very, very fruitful. We've had a great deal of luck with our friendships, I would argue, because we're still friends with people we've known for.
I really thought you were gonna go friends with benefits in that
No,
route.
no.
I was like,
No,
oh,
that's not that kind of
okay.
podcast, stranger. No, we've known some of our friends for. I've known Tyler for 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
I've known you for 6 or 7 years now. Then,
Mhm.
and it's. I don't know how long you guys have known each other.
Well,
We've all.
This
high
is the
school.
place where that most of the crew met was at the lunch table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
That's where we met. I think it was junior year.
I think so, because we went to a high school that had 2 separate campuses. One campus was freshman, sophomore. The other campus was junior, senior.
Yeah.
And I remember it was mostly in the second campus's lunchroom where we were hanging out. Because, I mean, I met Santosh when we were both freshmen.
No,
but
it was at.
Was it there?
early. I think it was freshman year.
I met Santosh in freshman
it was
year.
freshman year because my hair hadn't been spiked yet.
No, you
It
didn't
was
have.
still the Medusa look.
That's right.
It was still that look. So it was freshman year
Your
in high school.
pre-Wayne Static years.
Pre-Wayne Static, yes.
Whoever that is.
So yeah, it was freshman year in the lunchroom.
It was earlier than that.
Because
Okay.
I remember both campuses and I remember both lunchrooms, and we were in all 4 lunchrooms.
Do you think that tomato's still on the wall?
That was in junior senior year.
Yeah, I bet it's still on the wall.
It probably is. The thing was like dried up and
I know.
disfigured and part of the wall now.
That's inspiring.
It meshed like you could see it if you looked for it, but you didn't, if it wasn't there, if you weren't looking for it, kind of thing. So I went through a big, nice sliced tomato, and it like got near the top of the ceiling on the wall, so no one's gonna reach it unless they have one of those reach and scraper thingies.
So no one ever got around to it. It was
No.
public school. I mean, I can't blame
This
them.
is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Clearly, it wasn't in the budget.
But yeah, anyway, we met each other at the lunch table, and then it just progressed from there. And I think the merge of you, TC, and you, Ray, where you actually met, was at my house.
Yes.
Yes.
And my house was a big focal point for people meeting each other because it was a comfortable atmosphere, very welcoming.
It was like a saloon, yeah.
It was vastly based upon my parents because they encouraged it. They wanted people over.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I'm very thankful for is that I had family that wanted family.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I'm still connected with that family. And that's
You got a lot of family out of that, too.
Yeah. My mom even was like, "Oh, you're my new kid." Whenever they came over, you're my new kid. She treated you like a kid, not as, oh, you're just an outsider. You're just one of my son's or daughter's friends.
Yeah, no, your house was almost never empty.
Yeah.
Like, of actual people, it was incredible.
Well,
It
that
was
kind
always
of got
busy.
frustrating sometimes when you want to take care of business, but that's here or there.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, you mean like finances and accounting and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
definitely.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe you gotta check your stocks, and people are just in your background.
What's hot on the street right now is the taxes.
Exactly. I just thought I'd clear that up.
Yeah. But I mean, one of the biggest things that I've been kind of happy about is friendships over relationships, because a lot of us haven't gotten married. I mean, until recently. Like, we didn't get married early.
We now have 3 weddings coming up this year.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Because we've got Abe and Rose's and Tyler and Chantel's and
Iowa's and Lindsay's.
that's right.
And don't forget about Martin and Cece.
4 then.
Martin and Cece.
5.
I don't know if they're gonna have an actual wedding though.
5.
Oh yeah, and
Because,
then Ryan and Jen.
Are they actually getting married?
I don't know.
No,
That might-
no.
They just started dating. How are they gonna start getting
Well,
married?
because all you fuckers and having relationships and shit. It's
I'm
like
single.
It's like no.
Are
no,
you
no, no,
single?
No, no.
Yes,
Hey,
I am.
Are you single?
I'm not. I don't. Shut up! I'm not done talking yet. I don't mean you fuckers as in everybody in this room. I just mean fuckers in general, like as a general term for the people I know. It's like every time one of you fuckers, and I don't mean you fuckers, I mean fuckers in general, like people I know. It seems like every time you fuckers, and again, people in general, it's like they just find people and then marry them. It's like, what the fuck? Calm down. Calm the fuck down. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I hate it.
Some people don't like to be alone.
Well, those people need to understand that loneliness and misery is the natural human condition and just accept it.
Well,
we come from nothing, we go to nothing. That's it.
My grandfather, who I think lived to be 84, was married for almost his entire natural life. And when his first wife passed, he got married pretty quickly to his new wife. And then when he got divorced with her, he married another woman. I was going to say girl, but he was pretty old when he did that, so it was a woman.
No. Whoa, she's a lady.
And then he passed and she was still alive, so I mean... But he couldn't be alone. He was not that kind of person that could, function without someone else in his life.
Well, that might also be older cultural
That's
ideals,
true. It could
too.
be that way, too.
I mean, that was the way, because your grandfather, you said, was 84 when he finally passed?
Yeah.
That would have been... that would have been right around... So what, he grew up in the 50s?
I don't know.
My math's not great.
My math's
but-
not good either. That's why you're asking me. I don't know.
I mean, it would have been...
The early to mid 20th century. Just put it that way, just so it's kind
Yeah,
of broad, so that we don't have to do basic math on this podcast.
So yeah, culturally, that was very much pushed and encouraged to find somebody and settle down in the nuclear family, and so that makes sense. But the idea of the nuclear family, we've started to stray more and more from it because economically, it's not possible. That idea of the father working and the mother staying at home and being the homekeeper or the housewife, however you'd like to put it, is not an obtainable dream, really. It can happen, but for the most part, the idea of that being normal and the potential for it have both largely faded. I mean, we all grew up, I believe, in 2-income houses.
No, my mom never worked.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, my
My
parents got
dad
divorced
worked,
a
my
bunch
mom
of times
worked,
and then
but
remarried a
she
bunch of
didn't.
times.
What
She
the
didn't
hell
contribute
is-
to the household income. She kept the income for her side business of sewing and stuff. So it wasn't really an income for the house. It was an income for her hobby.
All right. Well, both my parents had to work because it was just 4 kids, impossible to maintain it on one salary.
Well, my dad did it.
I don't
It's
know.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it.
Well, he was an engineer too, so.
Yeah, no, my dad did not pursue the engineering route.
Now, another thing you guys might know is I was engaged twice.
I remember once.
Twice?
I didn't know about the twice. This is like finding out that Ray has a third wife.
It's Barbara.
No, but it stems off that ideal of, you need someone there. You need someone that's going to take care of the house or have kids with or something. Because I grew up in a household with kids, and I have a larger family, so I kind of had that whole, like, oh, this is where I should be going.
Right.
But once I was in that engagement, I felt trapped. Like, oh, there's no exit. Once I hit that, once I go down that aisle,
That's called wedding bliss.
and then once I go down that aisle with her, I really don't have a lot of options after that.
No, I'd argue you have 0 options.
Oh,
So,
how many women can I fuck now? 1? Oh shit.
Well, that wasn't the scope of things. It was the fact of freedom, the lack of freedom I obtained. Because as soon as I was in that stigma of in a engagement, now it's what does she need? What am I doing for her?
Right.
Now where's the time that I'm gonna spend on me? Like where am I gonna not? If I wanted to go do something, let's say I wanted to go out to the movies with my friends, now I have to involve her. And it's no longer just my decision, I have to make a decision for her. And then I went further.
Yes.
What if I had kids? And I had to make these decisions. Now I have to think about 4 or 5, 6 people, depending on how big of the family it is. Like,
That's correct. Yeah.
that's too much work.
You are now you now have a lot more to factor in. I mean, when it's just a married couple and it's just 2 people, it is you have to strike that balance between freedom and personal space between 2 individuals in a relationship and actually having things together and activities together. And you need to strike that balance. I know plenty of people who do not strike that balance well. And I think we both know who we're talking about.
Well,
But
Well, all right. With that though,
yeah, I'm glad you killed your wife. I'm really glad you did.
well, thank you. It's a legend.
one of the
I'm
things
glad the cops never found
that-
enough of the body to make a
that came
positive
up-
ID.
was
Legend, Mr.
a
Beretta.
lack of
Yeah.
trust, an inability to trust each other was one of the reasons I had problems. And I work a lot of hours. If you guys didn't know.
Yes.
Really?
So I work a lot of hours, and one of the
Okay.
most common excuses for a guy that's cheating on a woman is they're working late.
Mm-hmm.
But I legitimately was working late, yet she thinks I was cheating on her.
Oh.
Dude, you have a job where you legitimately have no idea what you're going out and
So
working.
now I'm working lots of hours, and now I spend time with her, and then when I try to get any kind of time to myself, she thinks I don't want to be with her anymore. No. I need to not have time with anyone. That's the thing. There needs to be that solitude where you have the moment or that hour or 2 in the day where it's like, okay, I could read my book, or I can just sit outside and have a nice cold iced tea, or or sit on the couch and watch something.
What about a mint julep out on the veranda?
But it immediately was as soon as I would get home, or I'd go to her home, or whatever, wherever we're at.
Right.
It was, you're in the relationship, you're here now. Now you need to pay attention to me. That's it.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought up that idea of solitude, because that's something I think doesn't get appreciated and I guess prioritized enough in a relationship, is actually having time to have to your own personal endeavors and interests and what makes you happy and what interests you, because that's the number one reason why I personally, I'm not a fan of relationships because I'm too big on that solitude time. I like focusing entirely on what I want to do. When I work my 42 hours a week.
You choose to be single.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. I don't appreciate your smarmy way of
hold on.
saying it.
Because I know what you're saying is true because I know you, but the people listening to this are going to hear that and go, well,
Yes.
maybe it's because you're 800 pounds and you can only get around with a hover round. Maybe that's why you're not in a relationship.
Well, first off, I'd only get around with a hover round no matter what weight I would be, because
Okay.
that sounds like fun.
It does sound like fun. Just the name of it, the hover round.
It does largely imply that it
By
does.
the way,
covered by
Ray
your
is
insurance.
not 800 pounds. He's probably the fittest of the three of us here. I just wanted to give you that.
I would disagree with that
because
assessment.
there's ladies listening to this.
I literally started sweating when he closed the door. But it's I know the way the way I painted it does sound like I have a collection of Yu-Gi-Oh cards I'm particularly fond of at home that are more important to me. But
well, who doesn't?
we've
Hey,
all
come on, who doesn't?
yeah, we've all got our decks to go home to. But the
And
important
that's a good philosophy. We all have our own decks to go home to.
yes. I mean that's it.
I have a first edition holographic Charizard that I look at when I'm making love to my body pillow.
Well, I that if I were 13 years old still, that'd probably work for me. Cause I love that holographic Charizard.
I actually have a holographic Charizard somewhere in my house. I feel kind of bad about it.
I would not feel bad about it at all.
Another
No.
thing, though, I've
It's not worth the
observed
paper
with
it's
people
printed on.
is it's not just they feel like they should be in a relationship. Like they think that it's needed, or they should always be looking for someone to spend time with or be with for the rest of their lives. Like some of the viewers in the stream, they always ask for kind of relationship advice and stuff, and my biggest advice is stop looking for it. You know, they're pining over trying to find someone, or they're looking for them in the wrong kind of ideas where, you know, some guy wants to work out and get buff so he can get the girl that's going to be attracted to him because of his muscles. And I say, that's not the best idea, because now you're exercising for the wrong reasons. You're going to stop exercising after you have the girl. And, she's going to be probably a shallow individual that is only interested in you because you had the muscle buildup, and will probably not be faithful.
Well, yeah, it goes both ways. You put the certain kind of bait out there, you're gonna catch a certain kind of fish, and that's both the ways. If you're walking around, and I'm not gonna hate it, because I love that they're making shirts with more and more cleavage until we're finally in the future where now it's just gonna be nothing but like the nipple cut out, and that's gonna be standard uniform, and I'm okay with that. But if you walk around like that all the time, and that's your plan to find somebody, to attract somebody, you're gonna get some less than pleasant individuals.
Yeah.
It's just what happens, and it's fishing with the wrong kind of bait.
It's also going back to old relationships, too.
I get the feeling you really want to go out on the lake and fish right about now. You would rather be fishing than sitting here
The
talking
fishing
to us.
metaphors get
fishing-
along really well.
The fishing pole is literally in the bathroom right now. I'm gonna see if it's still warm at the rest of the day. But no, it is a matter of with the social pressures of being feeling the need to be put in a relationship, because there are a great deal of social pressures, like you mentioned.
What
like-
the fuck did I mention?
No.
Listen,
please.
I've just been
Like-
being a dick this whole time.
Like you
We
mentioned,
love you for it.
Okay.
everyone lately
Least
has
I do.
been getting married,
Oh yeah. fuck
and
that.
it's ridiculous. Like people
See,
are
and
getting
you did
engaged.
mention that.
Okay.
Yes, it's people are getting engaged right now, almost across the board for us. I mean, we're right, I guess, around that age where people feel the need to settle down.
Mm-hmm.
So we've currently got 4 or 5 couples, that are engaged, and
At
that's and a year and a half ago nobody was.
Yeah.
One maybe, but
Oh, that's right. Doesn't Travis get married, too?
Travis is getting married. Yes,
To that car.
to
Another-
BMW.
Another person that none of you know.
Yeah, they're getting married, and I not gonna lie, I gotta check the calendar because I don't remember exactly when, but
Oh no, I hope
I
they
think
don't
it's in
listen to
April.
this. Oh no.
I think we'll be okay.
I'm forgetful anyway. What does it matter?
Exactly. Oh,
I'll have to check again, but yeah, it's a matter of suddenly there's this pressure where these people are getting engaged, and then that puts pressure on everybody around them.
You're
And
thinking, oh no, I'm not even following this right path. What am I doing in my life?
well, yeah, it puts, I'm not knocking. I don't even remember who got engaged first, but it does put this like feeling out that everybody then that's in a relationship for a while that isn't engaged. Where are we going? It puts that
Must be engaged in order to say, oh, we're going to take the next step to the relationship.
It puts that external pressure out there, which is largely unhealthy, I think, for them to feel, because it really does, like, hey, again, relationships are not cookie cutter, they're not black and white, and there's
Not sure there's something about
there's a huge gray area there for me. So to feel like, okay, these people have been dating for a year and they're engaged, I've been dating this person for a year and a half, why aren't we engaged, I think is such a negative and poisonous way to think.
I agree. I think that it should be a case-by-case basis, not a cookie cutter, everybody does the same thing over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when a man wants to go fishing, it's important to find time in their personal life to go fishing.
You gotta put that worm on the hook. Just stab it right down the middle.
That is...
That's how sex works, everybody.
That's medically correct.
That's how sex works. That's how people sex, as far as I know.
That is a sexing process.
Yes, there's a hook and a worm.
There can be if you do it right.
Well, yeah. And then there's a boat, a lake. I don't know if there's fish, but there's certainly a fishy smell.
You need to go get out of there then. She's not clean, or he's not clean if it's he.
You know,
I suggest fishing.
Mao Zedong never washed his genitals.
Did he have a woman to do it for him?
He said that he washed himself inside women.
That is medically terrible.
Yeah, I know. He was a pretty terrible guy. I'm not going to defend Mao Zedong. Not now.
Just
not on this
I've never met
podcast.
the guy, so I
No.
don't even. How can I defend someone I don't even know?
Just when I thought I didn't hate him anymore, you threw something like that out to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? It's...
Plus, Hitler was a vegetarian. I mean, come on.
Well, that's a personal choice, and everyone's entitled to be wrong. But I'm a man that if I can't have a good steak every couple of months, then
Oh
there's
man,
really
not
much
even
left.
a couple months, or like once a week maybe.
I
Good
can't
steak.
I can do a good
That's-
steak once a week. I'll get colon cancer. It's a legitimate fear. Too much red meat, colon cancer.
So like, what do you eat? Pasta the rest of the month? I mean,
Chicken. I'm pretty big on chicken.
You can eat
Lean
there's
protein.
pork.
okay.
Pork
Not
ribs,
every,
yeah.
not every meat is red meat.
I understand, but steak is delicious. And
Steak is delicious, and that's actually why I enjoy it. Like once every couple of months, because of
months.
you savor that even more. It's a treat.
Well, because instead of eating good steak every couple of weeks, you eat one fantastic steak every few months. You
so
save,
it's the savory.
That's my strategy,
aspect?
yeah.
You enjoy it more. Instead of spending $10 on a steak regularly, you spend $50 on one fantastic steak. It's
Really?
kind of like
I don't think you've had my steak then. It doesn't matter how much it costs.
well,
Okay.
if it's prepared correctly, but you can analogize it to hookers. If you can go to a hooker.
Well, you can't put both of those on the same scale. Those are two different things.
I'm just saying, if you go see a prostitute every week and she's cheap, you're getting laid every week. But if you see a prostitute a couple of times a year and you invest more money into it, then there's going to be a higher quality of trim that you're going to have access to when you actually do go.
So happy you used the
fishing.
term trim again.
Yeah,
When you go fishing,
when you go fishing.
just
When you
rename
go-
the podcast.
I'm gonna put us down a different road here.
Let's
We're
make a
gonna
fishing
go to
podcast.
the next topic on the
I'm
agenda.
gonna
Seems like we're
drag.
straying just a little bit.
I'm gonna grab the steering wheel and drag us right back to fishing for prostitutes.
No, we're gonna go into personal stories.
Godspeed.
Has it been an hour yet?
No, that's why we're going into personal stories. 'Cause I feel like we've taken up some time with the relationship, and it's time to move on to the next topic.
All right then.
So we're still being personal with our subjects.
We're still being personal with our subjects.
All right. So
All right.
this one's about a personal story. It doesn't have to be a relationship, which we just covered past half hour or so. So, my personal story relates back to a building when I was younger. One of my older friends, who I no longer associate with, we were actually really good friends for a long time. And it was derived off getting in trouble. Really, just being a troublemaker and doing things that were not supposed to be done.
Right.
And nowadays, kids could not do these kind of things, like stay out late, ride bikes, cause problems, because everything's more...
Did you play with a hoop and stick?
No. I actually had a bike that didn't have brakes for a while. But I really didn't. I didn't have brakes.
Calm down there, rebel without a cause.
No, it didn't have brakes.
Doing?
And I rode into a couple objects that got damaged, and I kept moving. But I'd use them to stop.
That's fair, yeah. Well,
Cars, people,
But
whatever's available.
so this building was abandoned. All right, it used to be housing of a local store. I'm not going to go too in details, and too much information be given up. And we had found access into the building. There was a door that was left unlocked. It was one of those overhead garage doors.
Mm-hmm.
And there was still power. And there's a large warehouse back area so that we could use it as a firing range for paintball guns. And there was like little back rooms, like their back offices for this building that had beds and Christmas lights. And there was a bathroom that was still working because the building had not been winterized. So we had working electricity. It was basically a hangout.
I'm surprised the landlord didn't shut all those utilities off.
I think it's because it was part of the strip.
Oh, yeah.
So
Interesting wiring job.
yeah, so basically we would use it and hang out there and bring ladies over and hang out. And one individual decided to just have fun, and there was a fire that was started, and the building actually caught fire. The fire department alarms were still on, and many people actually got in trouble. Now, this is when I was in middle school.
Yes.
So it was really cool. It was a nice hangout place. Like it was like a treehouse fort that was.
That's almost ideal.
Not neither in a tree nor a fork.
And I think
exactly. But it was really cool to go have that kind of place.
I don't know what you were talking about. It was a fairly large sized area.
It was pretty good, and a lot of fun hanging out there until someone spoiled it.
Yeah.
But regardless, there was a lot of fallout because there was evidence of fingerprints and objects left behind, and then there's an investigation. And
Objects left
for
behind.
whatever reason, everyone involved decided to leave me out of it. They didn't want me, as they said, I was not involved. So basically, I had immunity because no one would say anything about me. And
That's incredible.
I felt that friendship, like these guys are in it to be my friends, not to just because to throw me under the bus.
Right, yeah.
And it ended up being a big ordeal, and a lot of people got in trouble, and obviously because we're trespassing, lots of other stuff,
Yeah. In the arson, that's kind of a thing.
Yeah. But that was one of the stories I wanted to kind of share with you guys.
That's pretty incredible that they pretty much, not only did they not throw you under the bus, which I get that feeling, but they pretty much acted like you didn't do anything.
I was not there, according to them.
And that's incredible. That's great.
And if this gets used in the events of any other kind of prosecution, I was not there.
I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is over on
It
that.
probably is at this point.
Yeah. I mean, that's just Words that strangers whisper.
And that's why I was trying to keep it, not as specific as possible. But
Right. Well, I'm gonna go on blast because I had where you had this story of a friendship and a series of friendships where everyone was there was a great camaraderie.
No, it broke up a whole bunch of other relationships.
Did it really?
The people were fighting amongst themselves, but they all were in agreement that they didn't want to put me on the forefront.
Oh well, that's fine.
I guess I was someone that they all liked.
I guess that's fair. That's pretty amazing.
You're kind of likable, I guess.
Although it was nice to have a private place to go with the ladies. That was kind of cool. I didn't get a lot, but I was in middle school and I was a fat kid and I saw some things.
Yeah, well, that's literally, I'd settle for that now as an adult.
There was this one girl, though. Okay, continue.
Well, we can't share all the stories. So, I had a friend who had come out here. I'm not going to use any names, even though this is going to be the most obvious story that it's definitely
I know
him.
who it is, but
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
But our listeners, our listener doesn't know.
Yeah, it's our editor that is listening.
Yeah.
Who's probably one of us anyway. But I had a friend come out I was in middle school, and he came out from California, and I guess, I would say it's important to mention that he was Filipino. And he comes out here, it's important for later in the story.
It's important.
It's important for later in the story.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, he came out here and he was not particularly, you get that into a new school, you kind of have trouble fitting in and getting to know everybody because you don't have the people that maybe you knew in elementary school and
Like
you have
growing
some,
up,
you don't have some chain linking you somewhere where everything, I guess stability would be the word. So he comes in and we actually met, we hung out a little bit in middle school, we became great friends by the time high school rolled around. And I mean, by that point, and the reason I mentioned he's Filipino is because he would have a great deal of parties, and
wait, how does that coincide?
I still don't get
because they would have, and I guess it was just like tradition for them to really keep it largely family. It was just like I don't know if it's a Filipino thing.
So wait, were the parties family parties?
They were family parties. They would have a ton of family parties where it would be this cousin's birthday or this aunt's birthday, or it would be confirmation. They were all Catholic. So there'd be confirmation party, and
another reason why I don't get married is all this nonsense. Continue.
But for I guess it was always the actual party I was at, and I was at a few of the ceremonies where I was at a baptism for his godson, and that was incredible to me because it's like, wow, I'm sitting there with a legitimate family, and it's like I was just part of it, and it was awesome.
Oh, you didn't feel awkward?
No, I didn't feel awkward. They were so inviting and so friendly. And there's so much food that it will put you on your ass. It's incredible. But we were as close friends as you can get. We were family, and we had a fallout over a relationship that I had dated somebody he dated.
Wait, who dated him first?
He dated her first.
Okay.
And it didn't work out, but in that time, because we'd all hang out, I was the third wheel, and that's just how it was. And I got to know her a bit, and I asked him politely and respectfully, this is high school, if he would care if I dated her. It was probably wrong of me to date her at all, and
but
I get
asked,
that.
Though, right?
But I asked him, if he had said, this is, I prefer if you didn't, this is a no-go. They dated like for 2 months. It wasn't like they were previously engaged, and
that would be kind of more of a hard-hitting thing.
All he had to say was, I'm not comfortable with it, I'd prefer if you didn't, and it would have been dead in the water right then and there. Because it's not as important to me as it is a friendship.
A friendship that you felt part of a family.
Right, and it's that deep of a friendship where I'd go over to their house all the time, and I was family, and it was awesome. We had a fallout over it, though. After I talked to him, he gave me the total okay and said, yeah, I've got no problem with it. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. And we dated, And it didn't work out because it was a stupid union, but
Stupid union.
it was a stupid union in the sense of, like, we probably shouldn't have dated, but it was high school, so you kind of just do things, you know? And
But he didn't have a problem. He didn't object.
he didn't have a problem prior at all. And the whole time I was dating her, he didn't seem to have a problem until the relationship was, like, laid on and it was over and everything was still fine until at some point he just wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't answer phone calls, and I was like,
What?
okay. It was just kind of out of the blue. And I tried getting a hold of him. I tried going over to his house, but he wasn't there because he kind of worked a busy job at the time. This was high school, so he worked, 12 hours a week it had to have been. So he's a busy man.
Well, when you combine that with school, it does.
No, it's true, but it is basically he and I fell off the radar all of a sudden. And I just accepted it as, like, okay, this is I guess what's happening. It's a little ridiculous, and I would appreciate you'd think you talk to somebody when there's a problem that's that threatening.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we do, because we're very good friends, but most people don't have friendships like
Well,
this.
the way that he just described it, they should have been good friends.
Well,
We
they
should,
should
yeah.
have,
With a, I think it was, I think it was worth it to both of us to know what the hell was going on, and he didn't. He didn't bring it up until we tried to reconcile later. By the way, at that point, my Super Nintendo games are already there because he had a working Super Nintendo.
No.
That's important because I
no.
never got those games back, and that still to this day upsets me. But
That's very frustrating.
we should go get him back after this.
2 years later, he's in the neighborhood. By the way,
Oh, okay.
we actually could.
We
But
probably could, yeah.
2 years later, he shoots me a message on. I was using this website called Facebook, and
Never heard of it, man.
I was on Friendster.
yeah, he sends me this direct message that I think is what they're called, and he's like, hey, why don't we meet and chat? And this has been 2 years. I hadn't talked to him, and I meet with him, and he's just like explains out he hated that I dated that girl. After and I asked him before we ever started if he had any issues with it.
Yeah.
And that was apparently that's why he stopped talking to me was out of that situation, and I couldn't understand for the life of me.
That
I
makes
still
no
don't
sense.
I still don't understand
You
it.
went to the right channels. You
I did what I thought was respectably correct, but we squashed that beef,
Okay.
and everything was fine. I don't know how else to
I think Ryan gets this
I don't know how else
image.
to phrase
He
it.
gets this image when you guys are in this like this cranberry barrel, and you're holding hands and you're squashing the beef with your feet.
Just
What?
We squashed that beef.
Yes. Well, you know what?
Oh
That's-
boy, we had to watch our peas and carrots that day. I
Yes.
tell you what.
I tell you
Squashed
what, we
beef.
got that medical Professor Dre in, and he settled it for us.
You're just hungry, aren't
Resident
you?
surgeon.
That's all the fish and the beef. You just want to go. Get
Oh,
some
I
beef.
could have said something fishy in the story, but I didn't. I stepped out of the fish.
Oh
but
no!
we
I think.
ended
Hold
up-
on. I think Xena did something to your printer over here.
No, it's fine.
Are you
Just an alarm.
sure?
Yeah, it's just an alarm.
But it's annoying.
It's fine.
But it's
It'll-
it's gonna be picked up on the mic.
Not if you yell enough. I mean, the ability kind of.
Can I hit the power button?
It's not the printer.
Well, but the print it is.
It's not. It's not the
well,
printer.
then what is it? Is it like?
Anyway, let's continue.
What? No, I gotta know what this is. Well, it's done now. So, Greg,
Okay,
please
never mind.
continue.
That's why I said don't worry about
So-
it.
So we
Like
had
you know the things that happen in your house.
we had ended our disagreement, if that makes you feel better.
Okay.
And everything was fine, and his it's one of those things that we ended up still losing contact and not really hanging out after that.
Wait. So what? There's a second event that you lost contact with him?
There was a second event, and this
Did you
is
date his
and
other
this is
girl?
the wild part. What's that?
Did you date another one of his girls? Did you
Okay,
steal
well
his
that
car?
that largely didn't count, but no, I didn't steal his car. I'm not a monster. But he had his dog get attacked by another dog, and we all, I grew up a dog owner. I understand we all did, and we understand.
Well, I
like,
didn't grow
that's-
up. I kind of grew in.
Well, but as a dog owner now, you understand that's kind of like that's a fearful moment,
Yeah.
And the dog it got attacked by a neighbor's dog, and the poor dog had to go in the hospital. He couldn't afford it because it is legitimately expensive. Had to go through life-saving surgery to save the dog, and he went, and we were on good terms at the time, and he asked, "Hey, can I borrow some money?" And he asked it respectfully and everything, and I didn't have the money to finance him, so I went out on a limb and asked my parents at the time if they could lend him money, because again, they knew him, we were all family friends by then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they lent him money, and I believe he borrowed money from his girlfriend at the time as well. And he got to pay off, I think they still had to pay after that, but basically it was enough to get the dog through the surgery, and the dog made it, and I think the dog's still alive, and not even, it was about a middle-aged dog. I mean, it wasn't an old dog that got attacked.
Yeah.
So, and I was more than happy to do that because, again, he's my friend, and it's his pet, and I understand exactly where he's coming from. And then after we lent him money, we never really heard from him again. All of a sudden, off the radar again.
Well, probably because he didn't want to pay it back.
Yeah, well, but he didn't outright say that. He didn't come out and like, hey, I can't pay you or whatever. He just outright lost contact.
Because he felt like he was responsible to pay it back, but he knew he couldn't. And kind of was a stigma where he was like, well, I don't want to be that guy in the relationship where I've now borrowed money from him, I can't pay him back, and now it's going to be loomed over my head.
Well, it was disgusting because at least tell me that. At least tell me that, like, hey, I can't pay it back, or pay back in installments or something. You do something.
I would.
Right. I would think any of us would, but that frustrated the hell out of me. And there was a friendship that I really enjoyed that got ruined for petty reasons, really.
They were pretty petty.
And I hated that. And that's, I guess, it's too many friendships get ruined by absolutely petty reasons and lack of communication.
Yeah.
And it's a real killer. I hate it. I hate lack of communication in any relationships.
You do realize that you are one of the most difficult people to contact, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to contact.
Whenever I call you,
I am hard to get a hold of.
The voicemail box is full.
I'll never.
And will not accept any more voicemails.
That's correct, and that'll never change, really.
And when I text you, I have to wait a period of 48 hours before I can, guarantee I'm going to get contact back from you.
Lack of communication. I'm not going to deny that's true. But when I mean lack of communication in this standpoint, I mean when a lack of communication on issues.
Okay, like all together where you wouldn't respond.
Yeah. I'm difficult to get a hold of. I got weird sleep cycles, and it is sometimes a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it's when you have a problem with somebody and you don't communicate it with them, that creates issues.
Yeah.
And that ended up ruining an entire friendship for me, and
True.
I hated it.
True. What about you, my man?
Did I ever tell you guys about this time I sucked a dick and it was not very good? It was like
No, I haven't. You can tell me the story. I've never heard it.
There was this guy at a party, and he said it was cute, so we went into the garage, and I said, well, I want to see that fat cock, and I pulled down his pants, and he had a small dick.
Was he just not a shower and was a grower, or?
No, he had a small, erect penis. It was very disappointing.
Could you compare it to a vegetable of some sort?
It was like an oversized baby carrot. That's being generous.
Well, that's
whatever.
Depressing.
Yeah.
You had no other personal story besides?
No.
I could just pull up personal stories that you and I have experienced.
But then it's not a personal story. It's a story that's
it's
shared between us.
That's fine. It could be a shared story. Even a story that I've been a part of. I just want something from you, man.
I just gave you something.
That's you.
That's very personal.
To be honest, you give it up to anyone when you're drinking.
What? Well, yeah. I mean, that's not in dispute. But it's just, yeah.
What about with your aunt
Inspiring.
or with your family?
I don't want to fucking talk about my family.
What about with your mom?
I don't want to talk about my mom.
Like she's never gonna hear this.
I don't want to talk about because Fuck my family. I don't want to talk about them.
That's what it makes me want you to talk about.
No. I'll tell you what I want to talk about is strangling Nazis with piano wire.
Actually, it's my interest. Please continue.
Yeah. If you've never strangled a Nazi with piano wires, and neo-Nazis count. I mean, you can't find genuine Nazis these days anymore. They're out of stock.
It's really hard. You gotta go to
They're out of
Argentina.
stock.
Yeah.
Most of them are in wheelchairs still.
Exactly, so they don't put up a fight. But neo-Nazis, they work out, they're buff, they got tattoos on their necks. Neck tattoos are weird. But regardless, if you ever get a chance to strangle a Nazi or a neo-Nazi with, and this is to you, the audience member, again, see that's like a joke where I'm saying like I'm talking to the audience, but it's like a single person because we're not popular. That's the humor.
Oh,
Just
okay.
use his
thanks,
name.
Thanks for describing and
Just
telling
use
us.
his name.
Well, that's the humor value in it.
Gregory, use the piano wire. It's time, Gregory. Turn on your mother.
Exactly.
Use his name.
So when you get a chance to strangle a neo-Nazi with piano wire, take it. It's my personal life story.
That's a reasonable takeaway. Yeah, I mean, that's.
Okay, can you tell us the story about the computer part that we had to drive to Chicago for?
No,
and then
because
they
I don't
returned
remember that story.
He drinks way too much, doesn't he?
Or not enough.
I don't know if I agree. Pot in the kettle and all that.
Well, remember when we had the computer repair business?
We had like 5 of them, yes.
Okay, and the one where we replaced the part on that one laptop, the hard drive,
Okay.
and it was for like your neighbor down the street or something.
Oh, it was from my next door neighbor. Her mom died. That was really sad. Thanks for bringing up sad memories, Jason.
That's sad.
Jason.
How did
Bull.
mom die?
Cancer.
That's pretty bad.
That is, and you brought it up, so thanks a lot.
Well, people die from cancer quite often.
Oh, well, yes. That doesn't make it any less tragic. Or you just some kind of dispassionate, inhuman statistician.
Well, I guess I'm drinking at 3:30 in the afternoon. Everyone dies for cancer. The new podcast. I cry.
Oh, yeah. So we put a new hard drive in our laptop, and we formatted it in the NTFS file system, although FS stands for file system, so I'm being redundant. And then they said, "Oh, you broke it." And then when we looked it up again, it was it was formatted as FAT32, which means that her boyfriend reformatted the hard drive and basically redid all the work we did, broke it himself, and then tried to get money back from us for something he did to his laptop that we had actually fixed.
But do you remember the drive down to Chicago?
No.
We were in my car, the van, without AC. We were stuck in rush hour traffic on 90 going into the city. And we pulled up to the side of the house. It felt like we were doing some kind of drug deal because the houses were so close together, there's no parking.
Oh, yeah. I kind of remember now. I might be confusing this with a trip to my grandmother's house because she lived in Chicago too. And it was always very unpleasant to go there.
Sorry. Might be confusing this with a trip to my grandmother's house.
I really liked that van. I wish you still had it.
Oh,
The funny thing is I had 2 of those vans.
I know. I wish
Two different Astro vans.
I wish you just had one of them.
I traded in the Astro for the Prius.
I know.
And then the Prius to the Camry.
It was like we were in like a space shuttle in Star Trek, like a shuttlecraft. It was
those
awesome.
captain chairs are amazing.
I know.
They were pretty nice, yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Hey, if the 2 people, see now we're up to 2 listeners, if the 2 people listening to this have an Astro van, you should give it to us.
We can buy Chevy Astro vans. They're not much.
Well, or we could have.
Were you there for when my Corolla had
Was that your white car? That you had to lean back in because of your gigantic hair?
Yeah, but remember when
And then you ran through a red light?
that was funny.
That was hilarious.
I treated it like a stoplight.
I know.
We came off
Like a
the highway.
Stop sign. Like a stop sign.
A stop sign.
Yeah.
We came to the stoplight. I did a left, right, left check, and then just drove through the red light.
And
like,
I had no fucking clue what you were doing. I was sitting in the
I don't even know
passenger
what I
seat,
did.
and I thought I looked at you
I just keep going.
That was a red light, Jason.
Like, wait, what? That's a stop sign, wasn't it?
That was a red light.
It's amazing you're the sober person.
Oh, all right. So I think that's a good wrap up for today. We did some conversations. We had some laughs.
Discuss light
We had some
traffic
depression.
offenses. Yeah.
We delved into my past, Ray's past, Ryan's imagination, and
Oh no, we covered that one story about the garage and that guy.
The small penis.
Yeah.
But I'd like to thank everybody for watching, or listening rather. Watching the on-screen image on the tubes of you.
That 1920s podcast.
We could put some really shitty flash animation on there of us doing wacky craze. Look at the eggs.
Or we just have conversations because it's a podcast.
Isn't that largely what Ricky Gervais does with Stephen Merchant on his podcast?
Yeah.
Where
Except
they animate it now?
except that the content is actually worth animating.
Well,
I don't know if ours is.
I'm not much of an animator. It'd be really hard to animate us having a personal relationship story. Also, we need that one guy.
We'd need
Carl Pennington?
Yes.
Sure, why not?
That doesn't sound
Anyway, thanks for listening,
No.
everybody. I'm Bull.
That doesn't sound right. I'm Ray. Thank you for reminding me I got Space Cop in
And
the
that's
mail.
TC. You guys have a good one.
We have to watch Space Cop!